Hi, welcome to Shit No One Tells You. This podcast used to be called the Sis Advice Podcast, and I have made a little bit of rebranding. So, if you're an old listener, welcome back. My podcast is now on YouTube, so just look up the Shit No One Tells You podcast and you'll find me. And if you're a new listener, hi, my name is Linda. I'm the sister you never had, giving you the advice you never thought you needed. I'm reaching my mid 20s. I'm 25. Things have changed. I think life has definitely it's been more calm. It's boring. It's boring. And it's okay. Boring is good. When you're in your 20s, there's a lot of things, a lot of thoughts, expectations, and a lot of people telling you what's right and wrong, what's good and bad, what's happiness and what's considered the best life, and it makes you conscious of your own life. Especially with social media, people go online and present this perfect life. Like, I think that's very toxic for you. Our lives are all different. We all have different upbringing. There's no reason to compare and tell yourself that you're not enough. I think I've come to a point where I realize that, happiness really truly come within. Like, it sounds cliche and super corny, but it's true because no one is going to make you happy. What's in here is what's going to make you happy. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to process it through your head. That's why you meet like people who are so happy. Let's say they don't have a lot on the table. Like, if you go to those third world countries, there are families who are just so content and happy as they are, and they don't really need a lot to make them happy. I was talking to my boyfriend the other day, and I was just telling him about how I have a lot of concerns, of me being in my 20s and things are changing, and I travel for work, so I'm far away from home. I've been far away from home for 2 years now, and I see my friends back home. Their life is changing, and it makes me feel a little sad because early 20s, I would spend a lot of time back home and back home in Texas. And I remember I would just hang out with my friends. I had a group of friends, and we would hang out all the time. And I think I am just reminiscing, and I missed it, and it makes me feel sad. And he says something along the line of like, there's no reason to feel sad because, it's just life, and that's just part of life. And that's so true. And obviously, I have chosen this career to where I travel for work, and I've made a lot of memories along the way as well. And I've met a lot of people, and there's definitely a lot going on in my mind in terms of being in my mid 20s. And I never really think that it would hit me this hard. Like, I definitely wouldn't call it the type of sadness where I feel doomed. I just feel maybe like I'm behind or like I'm not doing enough. I definitely think social media plays a big part in this. I was watching a video recently by Connor Franta, and he made a video 2 years ago talking about being in your 20s, and I could relate with that video so much. I would love to share some of the things he said in here. And the number one thing he was pressuring about is that you should not let society pressures you into becoming what they think is good. You need to be the person that go out of your way and collect your own personal experience to formulate your own opinions. This is my stance, is that you shouldn't go online and scroll all day looking at people's opinions on things, because that's going to make you consciously form opinions that are not based on your own personal experience but based on somebody else, and that causes you to neglect your own personal experience in life, and that's going to stunt a lot of your own personal growth. Why will we grow if all of our thoughts and opinions are translated by somebody else? That is no longer you, but you are just living off of someone else's thoughts. So I thought that was really interesting, and that is so true because I remember growing up, I actually have a lot of personal opinions, and obviously why this podcast was made in the first place was I had a lot of thoughts and opinions, and obviously if you're listening to me, you're probably formulating your own opinion by hearing what I have to say. But I will definitely say though, I think in life when it comes to love, career, and relationships and just everything, you need to go out of your way and gain those experience. And for me, I definitely think I gain a lot of personal opinions as a travel nurse, especially because I traveled and I met a lot of people and I formulate a lot of different perspectives. And the kind of people that you meet will varies in your 20s. You will one day meet someone that is very career driven, and to the next you might meet someone that is the life of a party, and maybe you will meet someone that is both. You should never feel like you should judge them because they're not the same as you. Personally, I was very accepting whenever I meet different personalities because it makes me feel like I am learning a lot from each person. Again, we're all different, we all live different lives, we all have different experience, and we're not going to be able to live like 10 different lives. But however, we can sit down with each person who led different life and hear their stories, hear them out, listen to them, and just collect those experience, just like how you're listening to me and you feel the same way. But I definitely think there's a huge difference between garnering those talks in real life versus some random people that you don't know on social media. Like there's a difference in talking to someone in an intimate, personal level, one on one, or in a group setting in real life versus you watching someone who doesn't even acknowledge or know that you're watching them. I know it's kind of like counterproductive because what I'm doing right now is exactly what I'm saying again, but I'm not here to tell you to believe in one thing or another. I'm just telling you that just logically living your own life and collecting your own personal experience, using those experience to formulate your opinion on things is the best way to really define you and who you are, especially in your 20s when it can get very confusing and people don't know what they want. People chase after what they think they want because other people tell you that that's what you should be chasing after. But reality is only you know what makes you happy, only your opinion matters. And, I'm guilty of this because I tend to rely on the people closest to me, on their opinions to make decisions. That is something that I still trying to work on, is my decision and my life and everything, the outcomes of my life, no one knows the outcome. The only person that can make the decision and draw the outcome of your life is you. It is nobody else but you. So you can go and ask advice from other people and they're not validating you. You're not getting the validation that you want. Now you feel helpless and hopeless because you feel like no one's understanding you. And it feels like, well, I need someone to validate me in order to feel like I'm doing something right, but like maybe somebody else will do the same thing as you and it turns out to be the wrong thing, but then you doing it might turn out to be the right thing. That's the thing, you never know because everyone lives such different lives. And I think that's the thought process that we really should have to tell ourselves constantly is, you know what? Just because someone else does it badly doesn't mean that I will. And same thing as just because someone does it well doesn't mean that I will. In order for you to know the answer to that is to just listen to yourself and do it. You don't need any validation in life except your own. The only person that's going to push you is yourself. The only person that's going to drive you is yourself. Now that I'm in my mid 20s, I don't know how things will be, but I know that for the rest of my 20s, I want to try my best to live my own life and do the best I could to just listen to myself and what my brain has to say, what my experience is telling me. And honestly, experience is so important. I think I spent the very early 20s having a lot of experience. And I mean, like as a nurse too, I talk to a lot of people. That makes me formulate a lot of the way I view life now. And I also believe that as we go on into our late 20s, even when we're reaching our 30s, I don't think we'll be the same person as we were. I'm definitely growing and I'm changing for a fact. And honestly, I'm a little uncomfortable, really, because change is scary. And sometimes when we're so stagnant for a while, we're so used to a certain life and personality that we have for ourselves, we get scared to change because we worry that we'll lose our friends, we'll lose our like relationships with our family members. To live our life to feel free is to just let it go. And that's really all I have to say in this video. Thank you for coming to Shit No One Tells You. If this is your first time here, make sure you go on Spotify and give me a 5-star rating. That will help me out a lot. If you're on Spotify, you can stop by YouTube to finally see how I look like. But other than that, thank you for coming by, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.